Right, hello YouTube. Welcome back to a bit more Kerbal Space Program. Now, this episode, to start off with, we're going to do what I suspected I might do at the start of the at the end of the last one even. Wonderful timing. Dean, thanks for that. Which is we're going to do a little bit of time warp to just quickly run down all the data in the lab and just transmit it back. And I'll give you, I figured I might as well just show it on screen. I'll show you guys. I do this to sort of avoid cut down the flashing a bit. The sort of the sheer amount of science you get from doing this. Because it's quite substantial a lot of the time. I don't know why it keeps telling me cannot deploy because part is not part of surface station. I don't know what. We must have a surface base maybe that's not connected properly. Is it one of these? While that's going, let's have we've got we've got Frotov out on the surface. Let's check these parts and see if any of them are registering as an error and see if it's one of them that's complaining. Connected. Power state disabled? Oh. Enable? Huh. Is it that one then? Module enabled. Oh, is it because it's complete? Ah, okay, that might be why. Maybe that was why. Oh, those solar panels we can't break when we bump into them. Of course, the other ones we can. Right, anyway, let's send the rest. Now, you notice we've got a full 500 science out of about 100 of our data. So we do have a quite substantial amount of science stored away in this colony. Can we level up the crew as well while we're here? No. So we're already up to 1,200. Now, I believe we wanted at least 1,000 for our, what was it? I think it was for the lithium fuel tanks. We'll maybe... Oh, pardon. Tell you what, we'll just run one more. We'll just transmit this next one and then we'll leave them again. Just waiting for a time when we have sunlight and we have signal. Interesting. We had a flicker of having an actual science support thing available there. That was weird. Anyway, that should put us on over 2,000. That should be pretty good. We'll leave that for now. We can always come back to it later. Now, I can't remember if we'd picked a mission. I think... Did we maybe say something about an Eve mission? I think... Forget whatever that was. I had something planned for that. I don't remember what it was. What we might even try and do... is maybe head out to one of the further out planets. Yeah, we're getting loads of these. And I don't know what it's from. Tell you what we could do even. We could even delete the surface base stations because I don't believe any more of them are functional at this point. That could be potentially an option. But we'll maybe leave it for now. It's a bit annoying, but I suppose it's not too bad. I don't know what's causing that, is the only thing. Again, I believe it's a base station that's set up wrong, but anyway, right. So, science, we have 2,000. So I think we were thinking we would take, not that, but that is something we could take. We could just take fusion reactors. That would be interesting. We'd no longer have to worry about power ever, but you notice, this is why we're doing things like the Space Hotel, because these parts ain't cheap. But in theory, you would, if you had any sense, you would design that reactor to be modular so you could attach other craft to it at future points. Yes, I believe this is the one we're going to take because it unlocks the big lithium tanks, which will allow us to use our first sci-fi engine, or really sci-fi engine, which is the Impulse. What does Exotic give you? Ah, antimatter storage. We do have about 1,000 left, so we could take some of the stuff like this that grants us big docking ports. That doesn't give us anything. Command pods, I have considered trying to get the Tethys at some point, because it's a bigger Nereid, and a Nereid has done very good work for us before. improved mining we can't afford. Does science tech get us anything? No, I guess we don't have the right mods for that. Ion engines. We could also unlock our first ion engines. We have been putting off that one for a while, but it would be helpful. Specialized electrics. Was one of these a science experiment? No, I was going to say I thought we'd have taken it by now if it was. Larger batteries. It's a bit of a... Not too sure yet on some of this stuff. Yeah, some of these are for mods we don't have, so they're adding experiments we don't have access to. Or parts that we don't have access to. Habitation. We could take habitation and this command pod and improve those aspects, or we could spec into planes a little bit. They would be, some of the parts would be helpful on other planets, and we could also do maybe land some kind of atmospheric shuttle. We have to get up to that point to get SSTOs, a single stage 2 orbit spacecraft, or airplanes, I suppose. It would sort of be nice, but again, we focus so much on spacecraft at the moment. Tell you what, we'll take the first ion engines, and we'll take, what was the other part that was related to it? We'll take the crew modules. So I believe, I'll check this out because my eye's itching. We get access to the 3-man Nereid style pod with the rocket landings. Chickadee rocket packs, that's the one. And the Phoebe, which is... Oh, only 1 man. I thought it was 2. Huh. Interesting. Not quite sure what the advantages are on that one, but... we can have a look at a bit. Okay. Right. I'm going to pause quickly, and I'm going to see, firstly, what Snoom's trying to tell me, and secondly, what missions we could potentially do, whether we want to run out somewhere like Drez or something, and what sort of Delta V we need, so I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I decided what our next mission is going to be. Since the entire point of this playthrough has been to reach Eeloo, to put a colony there, and since I haven't... I've been trying not to rush it too much, but at this point we really do have the tech to go out there. What I'm thinking is, we are going to do a Eeloo probe, and it's going to be sent out there with the purpose of scanning Eeloo, both to discover more about it and also to find a potential landing spot for the colony when we get that far. And we're going to use our new technology. We're going to try and make it ion-powered. Now, there's some interesting thoughts we are going to, or things we're going to have to deal with when it comes to it being ion-powered, because it's going to have to go a long way. It's going to have to go all the way out to Eeloo, and the solar panels don't work so great out there. I believe they drop down to about half use, or half strength, so we could potentially go nuclear. We've had this little nuclear reactor around for a while, so we could send it out for its first usage. I don't know how long the fuel... Okay, 5 years life on the core, but we could potentially shut it down until we need it to burn the engines and have some small solar panels to keep things running. So what I'm thinking is we have something like that. Nice and lightweight. We will need to reject... I thought we would need to reject heat from the core. Does it not need cooling anymore? I could have sworn it had required cooling 150 kilowatts. Yeah, I was going to say I could have sworn it needed cooling. Radiates 175. Also, one of those would do it. Apparently. It's a bit weird to just have one of them. Even bigger. It's way less. 50. Okay, so definitely these high temperature ones are a lot more efficient for our purposes. Is that heating up already? No, just a bit of weirdness. Another one that displays as 3 when you actually put it on something as well. That's weird. Well, that in theory will actually cool it. So in theory, that would have the power to... Actually, does it have the power to run on? I should probably actually check that. How much do we get from this when it's running? 60 electrical charge a second. And how much do ion engines eat? Because we might have more than one. We might not just rely on one. 15? Hang on, did it say 60 they use a second? Yeah, 60 charge a second per reactor. So we could run 4 of these ion engines. We could have 3 around the central core. That might be a good way to do it. How many ion engine types do we have? I think we've only got 1. Oh. Ion, not iron. Yes, ion engine. Space age materials. Rock metal. Oh yeah, we also have more than one type. The gyro hull. 1.5 newtons of thrust at 2200 efficiency. Oh, first product, okay. And it weighs 0.1 tons. And the Dawn is a half ton heavier, but almost twice as efficient. And a bit less thrust, actually. That's interesting. Oh, well, those do use less power, so we could run 6 of those, potentially. Which would give us significantly higher thrust. What do these run on? Argon gas. Ah, and one runs on argon and one runs on xenon. We ought to add some argon tanks. So we could potentially run 6 of these engines. That'll give us a thruster weight of half, really? Dang, that ain't bad. That's actually straight up pretty good. 5k delta V. What do we need to get out to Eeloo? Not that much. Oh! Eeloo intercept. 4 years. Oh, so we could totally run the reactor full-time once it's ready to go. If the reactor's life was what? I believe the reactor's life isn't reduced when it's not running. Estimated core life, 5 years. 12 months. 5 years and 12 months? Or 12 minutes. I was going to say, 5 years and 12 months? That's 6 years. Am I going crazy? Yes. Yes, I am. Right. Oh, mind you, we do need to put scanning equipment on it, so... We could also put science equipment on it, but I think for now we'll just do scanning for the sake of... I don't know what's there. So, this scans for gas. There are others, I believe, but do I have them yet? Is another question. Spectral telescope. Oh, yes, that's the space telescope. That's another one we haven't launched yet. We should do one of those at some point. There is a use for those. Yeah, this is the survey scanner that gives us an actual reading of the surface. Is that the noise it makes? Yes, that's the noise it makes, so it's deploying. Narrowband scanner is larger than I thought it was. That's the one that scans for ores. You know what? We're going to do a bit of a redesign. We're going to make this larger. I think this is... We want to sort of send everything in one go, so I think we're going to need a larger craft. We can always add more fuel for the iron engines if needed. Right. So, scanners. Survey scanner. I'd like to have a narrowband scanner. Is it heavy? It's going to throw the weight off. 0.1 tons. That's too bad. Anything else that's 0.1 tons? Oh, mystery goo container, apparently. I might try and put something that is 0.1 tons on the other side to... Or at least something else on the other side to counterbalance it a little bit. Mind you, it was so low thrust anyway. We're not going to have trouble with that. I think about it. Chroma imaging spectrometer. Are they different? Hang on. What have we got? Spectrographic gas scanner. Takes xenon, liquid fuel, oxidizer, argon, and liquid hydrogen. Oh, atmospheric. Okay. It's the chroma one. Trace gases. Oh, okay, there's different fuels as well. We'll try both. I don't know that we'll pick up anything with either, but... Gamma ray spectrometer. Ah, that's space dust, okay. Oh, antimatter. I mean, you know what? It would be nice to know. We don't know any real antimatter deposits yet. It looks a little awkward just stuck on the side there, though. We'll maybe leave that for now. This gas analyzer, that's only local. That's no good. Right. Telescope. No, we'll do a proper space telescope later. Right. So that will be our scanning probe. We should also give it a name. And again, we'll give it some... We'll go nuclear again. We'll stick with that idea. Right, so this will be SP002 Eeloo. Eeloo Ranger. It's not the prettiest looking yet, but we'll get to that. We do need an antenna. This is going to be going a long way. I think we'll probably want our best. Which I believe is, yeah, the 500 GM. Okay, well, if we put one of these on here, it won't look like it's in the way of the others, right? And then point it like that. Because the other ones all sort of look like they're, yeah, like they're going to collide with it when it unfolds. If it's over there, then it definitely won't. Right, cool. That's easy enough. I tell you what, we'll put our one solar panel here, and that will be what keeps us in power once we're a long way out. While we shut the reactor down, and the reactor will be activated when we're going to run the ion engine, is the idea. We should also have significant battery power, because it is going to have quite high power drain. We should put 3 of those on, and some of these around the outside. 6 to match the framework. Yeah, like so. This is going to be getting quite heavy, but we've already discovered we can run 6 engines, so... I might also try seeing what the statistics are like between the 2 different types of ion engine, since one is significantly better. Or does provide significantly more output, I should say. Yeah, we found out these are our best heat dissipation choices. We probably will have better ones become available later, we just don't have them yet. Coolant tank. Oh, buffer your heat. Oh, hang on, I was going to say, I thought there were some rounded ones that were meant to be used for this sort of thing. Yeah, it's these ones. And how many of these do? 25. We needed, what, 125? Is that right? 150. That'd be, what, 6 of them? Yeah, I think that is the one intended for that form factor. Yeah, if we have 6 of them there, in theory that is enough to call it. It's weird though that they don't quite fit when it's clearly meant to be about the right size. Well, that was an awful lot. Ah, it's very big. Okay. No, you know what? I actually like these better. These in terms of appearance, because they actually look like they're mounted to that particular part. If I can actually get them in the right place, which is harder than it looks apparently. Right. Are they meant to be at an angle like that? No, they are meant to be straight. It just isn't actually mounting onto them straight. Hang on. Even then, that isn't quite right. Oh well. Right. We have that. We now need our fuel. Argon. Yeah, as I say, there's a bigger argon tank. That's probably going to be enormously too much, but let's see what we get if we put the 6 gyro hull thrusters on it. Oh my god, okay. That would give us 15k delta V, but it would also be across 3 hours of burn time. I don't even have 3 hours to record this episode, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go significantly lighter. 3k, huh? Man, performance has gone down. Right, let's try argon. Or xenon even. Let's try the other potential option, which is 4 Dawn thrusters. One gives us reasonably good results. I think the problem is because of the payload we need to send, it's a bit heavier than is really ideal for this sort of engine. No, 3 we had space for. Power 4. Okay. That's not too bad. Oh, it's still across an hour, though. I know the burns are going to be long, but that is perhaps excessive, even for ion engines. Now, of course, we can go conventional. Eeloo does not look like it's too ridiculous to get to, at least on a one-way trip. It's 10k delta V to get out to it at worst, but that's to land. We can cut about 1,000 off that. But I do like the idea of using our technology now we've actually just researched it. Is it the tank being too heavy? Is it a weight thing? We go for the right fuel, for that matter. That's wrong foot pad there. The reason we have so many really big tanks is because there are some much larger. Oh, Can't even radio attach that. Okay. There are some much larger types of thruster of that sort. If we just take the nuclear reactor off, hang on. If we just beef up the solar panels, because while they will get drastically reduced output, it's not zero. We just did a single xenon. Single thruster. Out of the way to the reactor, right? And then we go... I don't know. Well, even if they get out to half power, 2 of these would definitely have enough power to run one. Even at probably a third power. Take that off for weight. 7k across 5 hours. It's very, very slow again, but it would work. We did 3 panels and increased the amount of engines. Assuming that it reduced power, we can still run that. I'm not liking these burn times. I'm pretty sure these, again, are meant to be for pulling something much slower around. Oh, and that's going to be in the way. Alright. Alright, if I bite the bullet and go conventional, what are we looking at? Probably nothing like as bad, I'd imagine. Actually, try maybe one of these. This could look quite... Yeah, it looks reasonably good. It's not going to need much power, even with reduced output. Right. So if we were to say we're going to do it conventionally, we need about 3k for the maneuvers to put it into orbit around Eeloo. It looks like. Something like that anyway. So we aim for sort of 3 or 4. What are our more efficient engines going to give us? Little Spark, 2k. Where is that really efficient one? Where's our Nerva? We could go for a... This could still use the small Nervas. We haven't really used those yet. Go for a... Yeah, one of those and a Nerva. 4k, yeah, 4.6. Okay. And then we go... and if we give it another 4k to get it off the ground. It is saying up to 1150, but it really doesn't look like it's going to take that much, judging by the numbers it's giving us. Especially given... If we give this like 4 or 5k to get it off the ground, we should be fine, I think. Sort by size. That might be why I'm having trouble finding stuff. Forgetting that's the thing we do. This is definitely going to need a fairing because it's an awful shape. No. At 1.8. I'm going to go straight, straight, straight. Flare. Yeah, not a great shape, but we'll have to work with it. Not you. Oh, porpoise. What's that one? For reusability and low cost. Really? Okay. Wow, those are some really good specs for an engine like that as well. Wow, okay. Yeah, we could slap another fuel tank on at any rate. Have a look in 3.7. Yep, put another one on. 2.7 still. Is it not going to get any better? 3.2. And then if we give that some... See, if we instead went widening? No. There it is. If we widen that to jumbo. Let's have one of these on the bottom on a compact mount. Yeah, 4K. Wow, really? We can do this in 2 stages? That is very lightweight. Yeah, and that should be potentially doable. I think I'll give it some solid rocket boosters to give us just an extra kick and just make certain this will definitely work, but this should work in theory. Also to improve the rocket's profile a bit, because it's a little bit janky looking. I believe it's those nose cones. Nope. It's actually size 1s. Tri-point mount. This is yet to let me down. At least it turns the rocket wobbling to pieces. The coupling is another story. We should have time to launch this mission in this episode. Just checking a little bit. I'm a little pressed for time today, but it's not too bad for recording. Apologies if this felt a bit waffly. I felt a little bit uncertain on a lot of things today myself with this one. It's been kind of strange. Right. Let's also add some separators. Yep. But we'll just have them at that angle. I don't think they're going to need to be super steep. Right. Or super shallow, I should say. Right. You'll go there. Alright, so what do we go over in the end? We have our... So... 4 solid rocket boosters. Check. Then the liquid then they separate. Liquid engine kicks in. That decouples when high enough. Nuclear engine kicks in and takes us out to Eeloo, and we can do a bit of a scan of it. Big transmitter. Oh! Right, big transmitter. Power hungry. We may need more power than this. Okay. We will improve the power generation. I think that is going to be needed, actually. Oh, I'm perfectly on form factor. Yeah, okay. Okay, that I'm pretty confident in having enough power, but we'll add another lot just to be sure. And then I will most definitely be happy. And maybe just shift those up a little bit so they don't look like they're clipping into that. I don't mind them clipping a little bit into the other parts, but that even looks about right. But yep, just checking that's not going to be blocked. Good. Right, let us try it. This will be our first trip out to the planet we're trying to get to eventually. I have a feeling that designing the Eeloo colony, if it's of any substantial size, might be a whole episode or two potentially in itself. I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite a big one. In terms of the missions that we've run, or that we do run. Now, Eeloo, I don't know if there's anything weird to look out for. We are a little bit below the recommended minimum, but we are inside the range, and in theory, we should have plenty. Like, I think we've got about 9k. It should be somewhere between 7 and 11, so... If we do... I'm going to check something here. Now, you could do launch to rendezvous, and I believe you can actually do that for planets. Okay, that's not going to give us a proper readout. I was going to say we could, 96 days. I was going to say we could see when it thinks we're going to get a rendezvous with Eeloo and see if the two line up for sake of synchronizing. We'll leave that there, thinking it's on 96 days. It might change completely once we take off. But we'll see what it would have given us for... Oh, I guess we can't. Oh, well, I was going to say we could see what it would have given us for a launch to rendezvous, but it's fine. Right, stop at the stage. Yeah, 0 is fine. Yeah, that should be fine, actually. Right. Oh, no. I know what we forgot. As we always do. Exterior antenna for the way up. We do need to make sure we can talk to the craft on launch. We want one of those old reliables. Oh. And we'll also put another one on the main section just in case, because we're going to ditch that back section. Probably on launch, I would imagine. Right. Dave, here we go again. Gotta not forget that. I always do. And we will have our brand new relay point at our craft to give it a signal. We did create that big new 3-point relay, and I believe we have a dish free, so we shall have that. Assuming that isn't busy doing something else, we'll have that to communicate with the craft. So, engage, launch to 1000, please. Saving a lot just to make sure we don't break anything. Okay. Take off in 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Up we go. HMS unbalanced. Well, look at that nose, but hey. Your balance, I suppose, isn't the issue. It's more thing. Now we will have to. I suppose one thing we will probably have to do is maneuver to a polar orbit for the sake of scanning the planet's surface. I think at about 500 was the ideal, or 300 will maybe do. I think one of them was maybe 300 meters, so 295, I guess. So just below it. We should be able to get a good look at the planet's surface and find out like where the resources are, what resources are down there, all that sort of thing. We could potentially consider, if I have been considering expanding, is trying some planet mods maybe, because while the Eeloo colony is a good, certainly a good objective, I think we might manage it reasonably easy with some of the future tech we have. Like, it'll be a big mission, but I don't think it'll be a stretch. So we could potentially maybe try later adding something like the Outer Planets mod pack to sort of extend the campaign if it goes well. But we'll see how things do. There's certainly plenty of other planets we haven't visited yet in the Kerman system. We haven't been to Jewel at all. We haven't been to Dres, haven't been to Moho. There might be another one, but I'm forgetting. I suppose we haven't landed on Eve yet. You've only done a little bit on Duna. But I suppose that's the thing. We get to pick our goals. You see the rocket sound has stopped. Is that because we're in space? I thought you could still hear it normally, but... Is that a bug? Is that functioning as inspected? I'm not sure. Either way, this rocket's handling seems pretty good. It seems to be coping with the ascent no problem. Nothing's broken yet. We will have to keep an eye on power. If we find we're draining too much, we may have to perhaps put the core on hibernate. So it's using minimum, but we'll see how it goes. It won't be a problem until we get out to Minmus, and then it might be. And just how much power that transmitter is using. I don't believe it's 0, but it is not nothing. Yeah, I'm sure it is supposed to be. Sure, we're supposed to be able to hear rocket sounds, even if it, even if obviously in real life you wouldn't. Okay, that's gone as expected. Activate. At the moment, the range is 300 kilometers. Is it gonna? Yes, it did. Buff. So that's the reflector kicking in. Ah, there's the noise from that. Oh. Gimbal. Quick save just in case, because I don't like whatever it thinks it's doing here. Oh, that'd be a bit less of an issue once we ditch the ball. I'll see how much the maneuver the Eeloo's going to take us. If it looks like it's going to try and stage midway, I'll be tempted to just ditch the ball, even if there's still a reasonable amount of fuel in it, and it cuts our margins a bit. But we'll see how much it thinks it's going to take, because if it's going to be tight, we'll leave it and just do a correction burn if we have to. Wibbling is weird. I'm not quite sure what it's doing there. I don't know if that's the gimbal or if that's something else, but... Oh. Fin should be off, definitely. Don't even work in space. Shouldn't be 0 exactly, because it helps steer us a tiny bit, but... Yeah, I'm not seen a rocket vibrate like this. Glad he's enjoying himself, I guess, but... Literally vibing, but... really what it's supposed to do. Signal is still fine. Talking to the hotel, apparently. Right, yes, we do need to pick a target for this. Maybe the... What's the new relay called? Beacon. Transmit to the beacon. Sure where it is. It's the high one, right? Yeah, it's down there. It's fine. Stop fiddling about. Right. So, first of all, let's switch to the beacon quickly and make sure the beacon is transmitted to it too. Got to make sure we can actually talk to it. We do need it. Let's also see what the other two dishes are talking to at the moment. One is on Minmus. That would have been talking to the science base. We need that. One to Eve. And I believe one to Duna. Yeah, okay. The Eve one, not so critical. Eeloo Ranger. Cool. Two have established a proper connection now. That's the Eeloo Ranger. No, that one. There we go. ScanSat making us work for this. Must be awful in real life because you have to actually have the satellite pointing the right way during its trip. If you spin it the wrong way, you might just lose contact with it. I try to think the amount of pain in the backside planning that causes when you have to consider which way around it's facing. Right, is it trans? No, it's not in 2 years, and it is more fuel than it's estimated as well. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm guessing that's there when it's best. Yeah, 20 kilometers. Right, that's fine though. We do have the DB for that, but it might be that we can't orbit it properly. In which case we'll just have to plan a bit better for the next one, but... Oh. Yeah, okay, so 3003. We'll enable auto stage, down to stage 0. It's going to take both the rest of the liquid fuel and... or the rest of the balls, not ball. The porpoises fuel and the Nerva. Right. Yeah, nothing for it but to go, I think. So let's hit next node. Yeah, it could be that we've overestimated our capabilities here, and the chart I have is just giving me the wrong numbers in places, but some of it's right. Like the overall total is right, but the rest of it is not. Sure, but either way. Why are you doing that? What is this in aid of? Either way, whatever. There's definitely some talking going on, but that'll get better once we ditch that whole stage. Which will not be long. Oh, we don't need that open either. It's actually changed already as well. Must have done something to do that, but... I'm hoping we should have about... What do we have? Roughly 5,000? So we should have about 2k to fine-tune... If it works, we should have about 2k to fine-tune encounter and also circularize. Which should do it. If for some reason we encounter Jewel on the way, because Jewel can get in the way very rarely, I think. If we end up, for whatever reason, encountering another planet, we'll just take a look at it. I guess maybe even consider reorbiting it, but we should just hit Eeloo. And it should work, I believe, but... we'll see how it goes. Put that next, otherwise it's going to flash. Yep. Like I say, just in case anyone's prone to seizures. And also because we're really not missing much. You see the nav balls spinning. They're definitely orbiting. They're not drifting though, which is nice. Sometimes you drift slightly off angle over time, but we're not getting that this time. We could use the faster time warp, but it's not too bad of a wait. In fact, no, you know what? I've decided that it is too bad of a wait. We are going to use the faster time warp. Be a little bit careful with this, because we don't want to overshoot. Okay, for a bit, because yeah, I have to leave it in there. Staring at this, right? Oh, use the whole of the time warp mech, Dev, honestly. They gave you 10, we're not charging you for it. Or is it 10 stages? 8. 8 levels of time warp. Too much longer left to record for, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this mission before we have to disappear. 2, 1. This will be a bit of a long burn, so indeed I may have to disappear halfway. I think just because of the sheer burn time it's going to take to... But that's fine. If that happens, we'll part to it. It's quite a nice look. Nice effect. Right, so here's the bit where potentially it all goes wrong and it screws up the burn because we have to switch over rocket midway. There's the regular small nerver. I have realised we put no radiators on it whatsoever, but we should be okay. I don't remember the nerver having it. Well, the stock nerver never has problems with overheating as far as I'm aware. Unless you maybe go to Moho, but... Yes, if you do go to Moho, you do have to start dealing with the fact that the sun gets quite hot, and I think that can actually cause overheating problems for hot burning engines like nervers. Also, you think it'd be really easy to, like, fall into the sun, right? No. Moho's got, like, one of the worst Delta V, like, to get there and back. It's really hard, actually. It's got no atmosphere, so there's no getting any landing assistance or air braking with that either. It's like, no, you just gotta have the fuel to do it and not overheat. That is looking quite spicy, I will admit. There's clearly some pipes under the surface there that are heating up. But, I suppose for those of you who don't know, the Nerva engine, so the nuclear engine, the way it works is by getting hot. What it's basically doing is rather than like igniting two fuels together, either because they just ignite on contact or by having fuel that you just like light with a spark or whatever, the Nerva basically ignites the fuel by heating up a reactor super hot and then just running the fuel over it. And it transfers all the heat energy into the fuel and makes it more energetic, so you get really good performance out of it, kind of thing. And it can burn pretty simple fuel. I believe some mods even let it run on liquid hydrogen. Like, I believe the mod we have will let you use the hydrogen tanks on it. I can't remember if it's just an optional mode or if you have to do a config changeover, like an extra mod, but I believe there is a fairly simple way to convert them to run on it. Don't know if can we scan Kerbin from up here? Stable orbit. Oh, stable polar orbit between 60 and 150 kilometers. Okay. Oh. An abandoned liquid hydrogen. Now that's something we can actually show in a minute. Activate both of those scanners. Yeah, if we go to map. So space dust allows us to harvest some stuff from the atmosphere, and if we enable it, we can see where you can find that gas. So as you can see, there's just straight up argon gas, just all the way around Kerbin. Apparently as well as a xenon and oxidizer. Some are a bit closer, but yeah. And if you scan the other planets, they might have that too. And if you've got a space dust, what is it, a magnetic scoop, I think? Yeah, I believe it's the magnetic scoop. You can funnel that gas into your spacecraft and refuel. It basically just creates like a miles wide, like, magnetic funnel that just draws the material in. I don't believe it's tremendously fast, but I think if you go quite near a planet, it can be. Well, right into a really dense band anyway. But yeah, so we could potentially use that in our future missions. We could use that to refuel. You know, those ion engines run on xenon gas, so if you have, like, a solar-powered craft that runs on Xenon, and you have a harvester, and you stick, or at least come back every now and then to refuel, in theory, you can have crafts that can run forever, basically. That are not just theoretically infinite range, but literally infinite range. Because unlike in real life as well, those dust fields, as far as I'm aware, don't deplete over time. It's just literally infinite. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the idea is based on real science. I'm pretty sure you do get trace amounts of gas and stuff above planets, but whether it'd be enough to refuel a spaceship, I don't know. I suppose it might depend on how thick it is and how efficient your scoop is and how long you stay up there. I suppose it'd be a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, the solar wind is sort of hydrogen, I believe, mostly little particles being blown around. So if you harvested the solar wind on a say you have like a several year trip to another planet, I suppose probably by the time you've done that, you could probably have scooped quite a lot. Probably refill your tank, maybe even for your reverse burn the other way. Again, depending on a lot of things, I don't know the exact details, but I'm pretty sure it is something you could potentially do. In our case, we've just packed more fuel, because we'd like this to definitely work at the far end. But yes, we will. Unfortunately, while I can't time warp much through these burns, we will definitely time warp through the next one. Right, so... or wait, I should say. We'll probably have to wait to fine-tune. Oh, it was really close, though. I don't think I'll have to fine-tune much. There you go. Oh, really? Let's say liquid hydrogen around the sun. Why can't I actually view it? Or is that meant to imply that you can run the liquid hydrogen harvester anyway around the, or collector around the sun anyway? Maybe it is. I was just talking about that. Maybe that is exactly what that means. Right. Fine-tune closest approach to target. We want to be at 290, I believe, is our intended plan, but it tends to be a little off, so we'll go for 250. Okay, a little fine-tune burn. It's on the way there. Oh, it's good. It's straight away, apparently. That's fine. Just let it do it. Got us an encounter. Sweet. That's the main thing I wanted. And the only thing I do have to hope is... distance. I thought that might be... I was like, did I enjoy it? Install antenna range? Yeah, the only thing that we'll have to watch for now is... do we have the antenna range? Which we potentially might not. Have to wait and see. I think it's a... 37 years. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to use the very fast time warp. So this would have been a 7-year... this would have been a long wait in real time. It's not Kerbal. Oh, we're getting that wonderful bug again. Can't tell how far we are. Turn that off. Standard warp. I believe it's about there that we encounter it. We'll do another maneuver. Right. That was easy. We have a signal still. Excellent. Right. We are still able to get a signal. We'll set it to 290 as we planned. 100 seconds. Okay, wow, it's not taking as much to adjust our orbit up here, apparently. Execute next node. Yes, we still have a signal. Excellent. Power generation. Ooh. Effectively, no. Or is that just our... Power generation, just barely. We are still able to keep contact with the craft, but it is taking everything we've got. Yikes. Oh, is that the Okay, so we can't turn the scan. We don't have enough electric power to turn the scanners off. Hang on. I do not like to use cheats when I don't have to, but I think this one is the game being a bit silly. Disable the scanner. Ah, okay, there might be a bit of signal. I think it might be signal delay as well. Right. That's right. Disable those 2 scanners. We can use them in a minute when we actually get to the right spot. Right. Circularize at next periapse. Energy 1400. Yeah, we're fine. We should have enough to adjust our inclination after that still. Yeah. I don't know why we yeah, so the chart's about right then. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, so getting out there took about another like 20-30% more delta V than expected. Ah, there we go. Okay, I think that's shut the scanners down. Yes, it has. Oh, and time warp keeps getting throttled back because the amount of times I tried to do it. Right, yeah, gotta not forget about that. Signal delay. Doesn't affect MechJeb, but I believe that's because MechJeb is on board. I guess the idea is they're sort of simulating it being pre-programmed, or possibly the mods just don't talk to each other. I don't really care because it still seems to work. Yeah, so our batteries are filled up. It was just the scanners draining the power, but it still seems controllable. Even with the scanners active, they just flicker really badly. Five minutes, so we're probably going to have to wrap up fairly quickly after this manoeuvre's done, but that's fine. But the main point is, we've got to Eeloo. We have successfully arrived. At the very least, we'll get the world firsts, which we'll check in a minute. We're no longer getting that deployment warning. I guess it's something going on near the base that was causing that. Remember, we're getting loads of messages about cannot deploy surface part or whatever. Whether it was the ones we just reactivated even though they were fully spent or what, I couldn't tell you. But either way. But yes, that is Eeloo. So I've been trying to get to this whole time. It's cold, it's a long way off, solar panels do not work very well. All things we're going to have to consider. If there is uranium down there, we could potentially land on a uranium vein and use that to power the base. Power off nuclear reactors, or if there are the 2 fuels required for fusion, we could even deploy a fusion power plant down there. Give us even more power. We could work with a very powerful engine for both getting us out there and landing. Potentially make the whole base capable, the whole ship capable of landing on Eeloo's surface if we had to. I believe some of the powerful engines will still work in a... Well, I actually don't know what Eeloo has for an atmosphere. I believe it has nothing, but it might have a thin one. I'm actually not sure. By the way, our reverse burn seems to be working okay. We had no troubles with overheating ultimately. I suppose space might be even colder out here. We will want to polarize our orbit, or whatever you call it, or put us into a polar orbit. But what I might do, considering time, we might put this thing into orbit and call it there, because again, I'm rather short today, or shorter. Although, to be fair, it's mostly just because I've got something on and I could potentially record some more later. We shall see how it goes. Hopefully you've all been enjoying the series. We've been doing a bit more. We've been going a lot further away from Kerbin for most of the most recent ones, which has been nice. Does require a bit more planning on the missions, but hey ho. We could, one thing we should maybe look into doing is building a generic, or some generic landers that can, or launchers that can lift a set amount, and then we can reuse those between missions, which will save us a lot of time. Like if we're like, oh, We have like I don't know, a 50-ton land launcher, a 100-ton launcher, maybe like a 300-ton launcher, like a really big one. Something like that. That could be a good way to do things, like test them, make sure they work, and then we could use that for our future flights, simplify things. Right. Alright, time delay. Right. Of course. But yes, we'll consider that a success. I will leave that there. Let's see what commands we sent. And hopefully you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all again next time. Goodbye for now.